in me. They do with the devil, they set me free. The sun lives in the river, and it's coming after me.
In Maneater, you take the reins of one of Earth's apex predators. Controlling one of the deadliest sea creatures out there, players are able to bite, thrash, and tear their way through pretty much anything. But, of course, the more you devour, the more you evolve. I'm Darcblade, with a guide to the Shadow Evolution set in Maneater. Now, Maneater tackles gear in a slightly different way. Although it's still an RPG, the gear, or sets you get in the game, are referred to as evolutions. These evolutions, when combined together, turn your shark from a bog standard, albeit deadly bull shark, into something out of a fantasy or even horror movie. The Shadow set is a very sleek purple and black looking set that turns your shark into a speed demon, able to utilise poison attacks as well. This is a great set for hit and run attacks, allowing you to deal damage over time to your opponents and prey whilst retreating to safety thanks to its lightning speed. Now, first of all, how do you obtain the Shadow set? Now, the various pieces of this evolution set are obtained by completing the landmark quest lines. In each region in Port Clovis, there are different landmarks. These are indicated by signposts that you can destroy. Destroy them all in a certain region and you'll get a piece of the Shadow set. Now, the stats on the set prioritize speed over everything else. Having the highest speed rating in the game, you're able to move and swim quickly through the waves, striking prey fast, or quickly being able to flee from unfavourable situations. His attack and defense ratings are average, making it fairly balanced in that respect. Whilst it's not going to have the defense of the bone set or attack of the bioelectric set, it makes up for this by being able to poison its prey and opponents, allowing you to perform hit and run attacks thanks to the speed and damage over time from the poison effects. Now, when it comes to the individual pieces of the Shadow set, I'm going to talk about them as if they're maxed out, giving you the maximum ratings. So first of all are the Shadow Teeth, which are first obtained by collecting the landmarks in the Dead Horse Lake. This evolution obviously increases your bite damage, whilst at the same time allowing you to heal when you bite down on your prey. And once you've leveled them up, your bite damage will be increased by up to 30%, and the amount of health regained will be increased by up to 50. So it allows you some survival options whilst increasing your damage. Next up are the Shadow Fins, which are obtained by finding all the landmarks in the Golden Shores. This evolution allows you to emit an AoE poison cloud when you perform the evade move. Now, the way poison works in Maneater is that with each poison attack, you put a poison counter on your target. Each counter will reduce the speed, damage resistance, and damage output of that creature hit by the poison by 1%. It will also deal 2 damage per second for that counter, and you can apply a maximum of 30 counters onto any one target. But unfortunately, poison counters are removed every 3 seconds. But the more you level up the various evolutions that can deal poison to your opponents, the more counters you can quickly apply to them. So once you level up the Shadow Fins to their maximum, when you perform an evade, the AoE poison cloud will deal 5 poison counters to anything within 5 meters. Next up is the Shadow Body, which is obtained by finding all the landmarks in the Sapphire Bay. This evolution grants you the Shadow Form ability, so your ultimate ability for the Shadow set. This, as with all ultimates, can be recharged by simply biting or consuming various sea life. Now, the Shadow Form, when activated, slows down time, but whilst this is activated, you'll also release an aura of poison each time you lunge. This poison works much like the Shadowfin poison, so it's all about applying poison counters to your prey, reducing their speed, damage resistance, and damage output, whilst at the same time putting a damage over time effect on them. Now, once you've maxed out the Shadow Body, you'll gain some increases to your stats when the ability is activated, including 20% bonus acceleration, your maximum speed will be increased by 20%, your lunge speed will be increased by another 20%, and your swim speed will be increased by 20%. Also, when you perform the lunge attack, you'll apply up to 10 poison counters on anything within 10 meters of you. You'll also gain an extra bonus 20% lunge speed and another 20% acceleration bonus. So it vastly increases your speed and poison output. Next up is the Shadow Tail. This evolution piece is obtained by finding all of the landmarks in Prosperity Sands. This evolution allows you, when performing a tail whip, to launch a poison projectile directly ahead of you. This poison ball will deal damage to whatever it hits, whilst at the same time emitting a poison cloud upon impact, poisoning all nearby creatures. So when you have the Shadow Tail equipped at its maximum level, it will also give you some passive abilities like increasing your maximum speed by 20% as well as your swim speed by another 20%, and when you perform the Tail Whip, the projectile itself will deal 50 damage to whatever it hits, and the follow-up AoE Poison Cloud will deal 5 poison counters to anything within 10 meters. And then finally, the last evolution piece is the Shadow Head. This is obtained by finding all the landmarks in Caviar Key. This evolution strengthens your neck muscles, allowing you to whip prey around easily and lunge at great speeds. Basically, it provides you with a few passive increases to your shark. These include a 10% lunge speed and 25% thrash damage. So there we have it, those are all the individual pieces of the Shadow set, but you have to remember when wearing any evolution set you get set bonuses. With the Shadow set, if you're wearing all Shadow evolution pieces, you'll get an extra bonus 10% maximum speed. Of course, when it comes to leveling up the Shadow sets, you'll have to prioritize protein and mutagen over the other materials that you can farm from your prey in the game. But overall, the Shadow set feels like a middle ground between the bone and bioelectric sets. It may not have the damage or defense of those two sets, but it makes up for this by being able to perform hit and run attacks. Having the highest speed in the game, as well as access to poison attacks, you're able to take on tough opponents by simply running in for the kill, poisoning them, and then retreating, and then waiting for your moment to strike and rinse and repeat the tactic. Or should you be taking on larger groups of opponents, whether it be humans or sea creatures, you can go and poison a few of them, move on to the next group, poison a few of them, and deal widespread damage throughout the group without having to remain in one place for too long. But there we have it, that is the Shadow set evolution. For me personally, this is probably my favourite evolution out of the bunch, as I do like the poison playstyle and I like the speed increases that this provides to your shark. On top of that, for me personally, I think it's one of the better looking sets out there, which is just a bonus. But what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a guide to the Shadow evolution set in Maneater. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.